Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of The Talking Block. We have a very special guest here, and he's going to be very thrilled. So, you can come out now, Jake. Come on now.
Hello, everyone.
Jake Bowen.
Yeah, I'll shake your hand.
Very great man who made Uncle Samson. What inspired you to make that little creature right there?
Well, let's see. So, first of all, possibly you haven't seen the original version, but maybe you have. Way back when...
The kid?
Yeah, way back when YouTube was like 3 years old. My brother and our neighbors, we were at their house and we decided to make a viral video. I can't do air quotes, you know what I mean?
Viral.
My brother was inspired by some kind of demonic urge or flash of inspiration to put on this pair of overalls and stuff it with pillows and blankets and things and make himself look like he had gigantic legs. And then we just made this video that we thought was funny and then put it on the internet, forgot about it, time went by. And then in college, I was taking a 3D modeling class, and which I'd never done at the time. The program was called Lightwave 3D, in case there's, for all 2 people out there who still use that program. Yeah. And I had to make a humanoid character. And so I did my best to make, sort of the cartoon version of my brother as Uncle Samsonite. Did that for the final project, which is the original 3D version that you probably all know and have seen. So,
that was actually going to be your second question on what did you make him with, but yeah, it's actually really nice.
Yeah, Lightwave 3D.
Questions about the show. Well, I've seen a lot of people talking about this in recent weeks, but there's been a kind of decide on whether or not if he's a pig or a pony.
Yes, I've been asked that a lot. I wouldn't say he's either a pig or a pony. He's got fur, he's got little ears, but he's sort of humanoid.
So it's his own breed.
Mystical creature. Yeah, he's an imaginary friend, I think is the way I would describe him. He's your imaginary friend that won't go away. That's the idea.
He'll haunt you for the rest of your life. And
yeah, but if he takes on the form of a pig or a pony, I don't really see the pony, frankly, but other than obviously the connection to the song. But I get why people say he kind of looks like a pig. He could take different forms. I think it's kind of fun seeing how different people interpret what he looks like.
Another question that has been going on recently as well. What was the long pause between all the episodes?
It was just I had other things going on, other projects that I had committed to, and it just took my, one thing led to another. I always intended to get back to the show. Also, the show got a lot more ambitious over time. I actually filmed a bunch of stuff for season 3 that you haven't seen yet. And some of it's in the new episode that just came out recently. Almost 5 years ago now, which is crazy. It was literally the weekend before the COVID lockdown started. It was before everyone realized that everything was going to be shut down. And then I moved and started a bunch of other things, got a different job, all this stuff. So I had been I'd been working at another episode for a while, but there was a lot of work left to do, and it was just hard to find the time. So, the original first season, I mostly did by myself, and then it's like I added, more characters came into it, made it funnier and better, I think, but it also made it a lot harder to make. There's more moving parts, So, and then also I was, I had never fully committed to pursuing it as a main focus of what I was doing. It was kind of a side project that blew up, and then it really blew up last year, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. The guy I worked with and for saw the Halloween costume. He was like, "You got to finish this." So I thought I'd give the people what they want.
All the TikToks I saw of them, there were so many thirst traps. I was like,
yeah.
The amount of times I watched it, I think I was around like 9 the first time I watched that thing, and it was like I didn't get it out of my head, and I still have it in my head to this day. Like, that thing. So you said that Uncle Samson can distort and like create himself into whatever he wants, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So what drives him to stay in this one form?
Yeah, who knows? It's here, I'm gonna put them over here actually. It's some things are unknown and unknowable. I think it's just the form he chooses to take. Why does the cat in the hat look like the cat in the hat and come and visit kids on a rainy day? Sort of the, this is just what he looks like.
Let me get my list out of questions from Reddit. I've been...
Alright.
So, Jack, how would you feel if Uncle Samson was real? How would you feel if you were sleeping in bed one night and you hear a creak from your closet door and Uncle Samson just pokes his little head out? And he's like, hey there, little boy.
Well, who knows? Maybe that is what happened and that's what inspired all of this.
No.
But I don't know. I think hypothetically, if that hadn't happened and I was in an existence where it hadn't, and then I was answering that question, a hypothetical world where it did happen, I'd say it'd be pretty horrifying. Which is kind of that was sort of the whole idea of the original episode, the live action one I mentioned, and there's something else I gotta say about that, I just remembered, but the original concept was kind of, it's been done before, but it was sort of, if it was a rainy day and the cat in the hat came over to have fun, show the kids a good time, it would be terrifying if this big creature came into your house. That was the idea. Or if your imaginary friend crawled out from under your bed or whatever and was real, it would be scary, right? That was the idea. So that, I guess it would be, to answer your question again, it would be very scary. But I have to mention too, the important detail I should have said a minute ago. That original video, I said that I made it with my brother and our two neighbors, Nathan Crockmall and Ben Crockmall, who Nate is also a filmmaker in his own right and is working in the film industry in Atlanta, and he's actually the one who filmed and edited the original video, and the original was on his channel. It's called A Crockmall, but it's long since been taken down for copyright because it's full of blowing clips of music. But we may re-release some out, but I just gotta say, I didn't exclusively create the original concept. That was sort of it was four friends, a team effort, totally. And then I did model the 3D version that's become, the most known version of him, but the credit goes to, is with all those guys. So, and we may see, you've seen Isaac involved a lot. May see Nate and Ben in some capacity on the channel in the future. So
is MX from Mario 30 and 35 canon to Uncle Samson lore?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm barely aware of who MX. I think that's like the Demon Mario guy, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I think he's one of the Pillar Chase characters.
I think that's I think that's a good question.
Who knows?
So I think that question's asking is, do you think Pillar Chase is remotely like kind of canon to maybe that's one of the dudes? Oh yeah,
I've got a package from Clover B.
Oh yeah,
hot dog. Oh, did I eat it?
Oh, I guess you ate it.
Okay, well it was delicious.
2 things. 1, Jack, will Scrappy Chunks appear in more episodes? Is that one?
Oh, people ask me that a lot. You'll just have to wait and see. That's what I'm not going to spoil anything about the future, unfortunately, for the series.
Of course, we're not asking that.
It's possible, but it might not. I don't know.
2, what would happen if I hug Mr. Samsonite?
I don't know. He might ask you why you're hugging him instead of dancing. He might, hug you back. Yeah, he might hug you back. He might pull you into his lair. All kinds of possibilities.
I think that's all the questions from Reddit, sadly. Not a lot of talkers on Reddit. So how about we go to the community over here to ask some questions about Mr. Samsonite? Just that one.
I got one.
Okay.
VR Moments 3.
Alright, so the song, what made you think about that?
What made you pick Pony by Genuine?
Pony by Genuine? Oh, I didn't choose that. That's the song. It shows me more than anything. About the depth, as much as I thought about it was, or as far as I thought about it at the time was, this song has a funny sounding burp noise in the beat, and so I used it.
It was used in a Applebee's commercial recently, which is very funny.
I'll have to look that up.
I was just watching TV with my family, and I hear burp.
So I'd say it's about as appropriate for Uncle Samsonite as it is for Applebee's, which is to say, not appropriate at all. In the sense of there was really no thought into it.
Yeah. So, Zombo, you had a question?
Yeah, I've two. So for my first one, what like equipment did you use to like film the video? Because like I know in some scenes you have like two of you. Like, how would you get that done?
So sometimes there's more than one of me. Sometimes it's me and the other ones being played by other people or my brother or somebody. But in the cases where it's where I am two people, it's just a classic trick where the camera the simplest version of it is if pretty much any camera, if it's still, it's on a tripod or something, and you record one half and then you change costume, you record the other, and then you just splice them together in post-production, and if you feather the edge between them so that it's kind of a gradient, then you usually can't tell as long as the lighting hasn't changed a bunch. It gets more complicated than that when there's more going on or the camera's moving or something like that. But that's typically how it's done. Or I just call my brother, my twin brother, and he plays the other part. So,
okay, I got you.
Oh, you got one? You got one, Gamer?
Which is your favorite character in the series if it's not like Uncle Samson? Like your second favorite, maybe?
Probably the Knight, just because Knights are cool.
Oh, the Knight.
I just,
That one.
Knights are badass, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, Zombo has one more question.
Yes, Samba?
Has Uncle Samson been through the same tragic events that he puts Jake through?
No, I don't think so. Who knows how long he's been around, but he's some kind of eldritch being or imaginary friend or something. He doesn't really have much experience of what it's like to be immortal, Okay.
How many are there? We know about like 3 of them so far. We know about the green one. We know about Uncle Samson.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's safe to assume. I mean, are you familiar? I don't know how familiar you are with like Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, and the wide array of eldritch beings. But I'd say it's however many of those there are, and it's probably an unknowable amount, which is part of the cosmic horror of the whole thing.
So
that's
you
like
could
things
say that
beyond the.
There might be another Uncle Samson out there that might look identical to him, but with like a red head.
Oh, I mean, well, I guess there could be, but I don't know. It would probably take on a different. It'd probably take on a different form,
Probably, yes. So, questions about you, of course. Are there any other projects you're working on right now?
At the moment, I'm pretty exclusively working on Uncle Samsonite again for the first time in a long time. There are other things. And I'm not even being coy about this just for the sake of teasing or anything, but it's just nothing else is really far enough along to be worth talking about yet. But there will be other things either in YouTube or outside of YouTube. I've always, my real funny thing is this whole thing is kind of a sort of a side project or detour on the way to eventually making feature films is the idea, and so there may be something like that in coming down the pike at some point, but it's too early to say anything about it.
So that would mean like it's not off the table. Uncle Samson official movie in theaters. He's gonna come out the screens and touch everyone.
I would not rule it out.
I would
not rule it out.
buy an entire theater to see that.
I think it would be there's some things to figure out. For instance, the name Uncle Samsonite, the fact that his name involves a major luggage brand because we misunderstood a joke from the movie Dumb and Dumber and didn't know that it was a luggage brand. That's a bit of a problem, There's some other, the song Pony. I guess you could get the rights to that if you made a movie. But there's some kinks to work out. Yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe it'll.
So, question: how many seasons do you think there would be?
Right now, I'm just trying to get through season 3 and give it a satisfying conclusion. I wouldn't rule out stuff in the future, but I definitely want I want to get to something that feels like a resolution, a conclusion of an arc of that, So there will be some kind of end to this. It doesn't mean that there can't be stuff in the future, but I'm really just focused on season 3 right now. Yeah, I mean that type of stuff. I'm sure there'll be little shorts and things in the future. But as far as like an actual 4th season or 5th or whatever, 17th, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't have any specific plans for it right now.
Yeah. How do you feel about some of the other creations you made? I know you not only made Uncle Samsonite.
Well, on the YouTube channel, I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head everything that's on there, but I think the oldest video that's public on there is like something I made for a high school film class with so I mentioned Nate Krockmall, the one who filmed and edited the original Samsonite video. This video I'm talking about, I think it's just called Recycle PSA, like public service announcement. We had to make a public service announcement in high school. And so it was a recycling public service announcement, which I just made into an excuse to do a little like Captain Planet style supervillain thing. So Nate plays the villain Pollutor in the purple outfit in that video. That's something I made probably when I was 16, 17, something like that, which was a while ago now. Another video, I did a few shorts that are comedic and whatever that were sort of in between the Samsonite stuff, like there's Night of the Wereman. I won't spoil that one, or Solo Stash. Or the Craig shorts, the guy with his mustache that kills the Easter Bunny, and his neighbor for hoarding toilet paper. Yeah, so stuff like that. I've also worked outside of this. I've worked on some feature film related projects, but again, it's kind of too early to talk about some of them. Maybe I'll make that more public later on, probably. But yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff on the YouTube channel besides that, besides Uncle Samsonite.
So. Another question. Do you ever think there will be a revival of the Uncle Samson merch store?
Yeah, very soon I would say there will be new stuff. We've got some crawlers in the crowd. I can't promise anything specifically, but I'm working on shirts, plushies.
Oh, that would be
hats,
amazing. Unless you're gonna talk about if you would do if it's rolled out the table, I know there's a certain website called Makeshift. They do amazing plushies and stuff like that. I think.
Yep, I'm aware of Makeshift.
I think that would be amazing for an Uncle Samsonite plushie.
Yeah, so tell me this. I have a question, actually. I'm curious what the crowd would think of this, too, and the cameraman. If there was a Samsonite plushie, would you want him to look, if you were going to go to buy one, would you rather he looked like this? Or would you rather it's a bit more stuffed animal-esque, like the proportions and style are a little different for the sake of it being a plushie. You know what I mean?
Bigger head. More like
bigger head.
Big head, big hands, bigger.
If you want to put it up to the where do you feel you would be now if you never created a YouTube channel? Uncle Samson never came to you guys' mind.
Oh man, I don't know.
What if situation if Uncle Samson never came to you in your sleep and he's like, "Come on and ride it," and you just this is you now, and you're just none of it's ever here.
Yeah, I mean, hard to say, but I think in some broad strokes ways, some things would be similar, but honestly, I probably would not be. The amount of practice at filmmaking, discipline, scheduling, visual effects, yada, 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 that I got from finally committing to making the show, I think has directly led to a lot of the career stuff that I'm doing outside of Uncle Samsonite, working in visual effects and stuff like that, I probably would not have gotten into Blender and things like that, or been able to pick it up quickly like I was able to if I hadn't had that background. So at least in that, if for no other reason than that, it's been, I don't know, I probably wouldn't be employed in the same way that I am now if it hadn't been for
so you'd be homeless, basically.
Yeah, basically be homeless, destitute, on the street. Wife would have left me. I wouldn't be executing people in the audience with extreme prejudice. Oh, look at that sideways shot.
I think that's all the questions we had for today. So thank you for coming out. This is the first ever episode of the Talking Block. This is not at all forced. Don't worry about it. So, Jake, you want to say subscribe to Moose_RR on YouTube?
Subscribe to Moose_RR on YouTube. This is not forced.